Surprise, surprise, surprise. The economy isn't doing so well. Who would have ever thought that? I mean, we've only been talking about it forever and letting people know that, look, this is not looking good. And you know what the main culprit is when it comes to our economy? It's debt.
Passed a bill to address not only the debt ceiling, but also the spending problem in Washington.
Wow, surprise! Yes, we are seeing tons and tons of debt that people are accumulating, and now, just now, people are thinking,
oh man, maybe I overspent.
My name is Orlando. Welcome to the channel, guys. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help out the channel. In the description, I have a real estate for beginners course and a YouTube course. Guys, listen, it's no secret that debt is going to be the killer of a lot of people being able to afford a home, being able to get that home that they're looking for. And I've been preaching it over and over and over again that you have to be very careful when it comes to your finances. You will not be able to get that same approval letter that you thought that you got 6 months, 8 months ago. Because when the credit crunch happens, and it's currently happening now, things will be different. And this is no different. It says here, millennials are sinking under the weight of their debts, having added a record $3.8 trillion at the end of 2022. Here's what's driving that. Well, I can tell you what's driving that, especially mortgages, credit card debt. I can almost guarantee you, without even going any further, those are the issues. But I know what some of you guys are saying.
Orlando, I have to go on my vacation. I have to go to the Maldives. I have to go to Bora Bora and spend $10,000 on me. I need this.
And I would say, well, can you afford it? More than likely you can't. That is the reason why you're using a credit card to fund it. And that's the case for most people. They cannot afford it. Now, I know someone's in my comment section say, Orlando, I use it for points. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to individuals who have the money to pay it off. But we know by the numbers that most people cannot pay stuff like that off. And people are just living a lifestyle that they cannot afford. Debt rising for millennials in their 30s at record pace. Household debt hit 16.90 trillion last quarter as consumers grapple with rising inflation and interest rates. Millennials in their 30s have added over 3.8 trillion in debt to their accounts, and they are missing their credit card and auto loan debts at a startling rate. I have done videos over and over and over, guys. And I've been telling you guys, repos are going up. People are missing their credit card debt. A year ago, everything was great. Everybody was like, yeah. Yes, sir. Everything was free flowing when you have no expenses, when you're not paying a mortgage because it's paused, or you're not paying rent because it's paused, and you're getting money from your job, and you're getting money from the government. Everything was great, right? Terrific. No. Because some of you guys were living as if those things would not turn back on, and you were spending beyond. This is true. I know it's crazy. People were spending beyond what they would normally even make. I know they weren't saving the money. They were spending it.
The money is gone.
And now we're in a predicament where you cannot afford these extra things, especially with student loans coming back on, especially with mortgage payments going on. If you bought a new home, now you're paying a higher interest rate. Maybe in some scenarios, you've lost value on that home. So now a lot of people are in a different scenario where they're losing financially because they overspent. They were living beyond their budget. Let's get to some of the type of debt that caused the $3.8 trillion in additional debt. Okay, we have mortgage bills. Millennials may be in their prime home buying years, but on top of affordability crisis, which we all know is an issue, they're also currently continuing with mortgage rates closing in on 7%. Across all age groups in a survey, mortgage debt makes up the biggest share of outstanding balances, with the number rising by nearly $1 trillion last year. Now, here's the thing, guys. We've been talking about this forever, it seems. I've been trying to let people know, yes, the interest rate is going up. But here's the thing. If the interest rate isn't a big deal, if you get a great deal on your home,
write that down.
You can always refinance that, and I'm all about that. But a lot of you are overpaying on these houses, and then you're getting a high interest rate on top of that. How does that make sense? I mean, make the math work for me. Write it down in the comment section and say, this equals this equals this, because it doesn't make sense. And some of you guys actually know you're overpaying. It's not like put a blindfold over you and you, oh, surprise, I'm overpaid.
Awkward. So awkward.
And then I get an email from you and say, Orlando, I'm upside down on my home and I can't afford the home because I was working at Meta and I didn't know I was going to get laid off. And I go, listen, you could have just easily typed in Facebook Meta, figured out that Facebook was saying that your job wasn't stable. You probably shouldn't overpaid on that home, and you're at the highest interest rate that you possibly can get. Like, you saw all the red flags and you still did it because you wanted a house so bad. The FOMO was making you like, I don't want to miss out. The money was burning a hole in your pocket, and you cannot. I get it, guys. I understand it. It is a purchase that is for you and your family, but I want you to really focus on where this home could put you and your family financially. This is the thing. You're doing this. You're buying the home for your family, but why would you put your family in a position financially to bankrupt you?
That don't make no sense.
And this is the thing. I think a lot of people think that I am like, hey, I want you to rent forever. And that is not the case. I just want you to look and be cautious if you're jumping into these homes. That's all I want you to do. I want you to look and not be led off of a cliff thinking that everything's going to be great. Everything's going to be rainbows and sunshine, and you're never going to get taken advantage of by a realtor, that you can go in and buy these homes overpriced with no inspector, no appraisal. That's crazy. But then we jump into the big one, guys, which is credit cards. Borrowers in their 30s are struggling with the highest credit card delinquency rate, according to the New York Fed, surpassing pre-pandemic norms now. That's a massive shift from the peak pandemic times. With the average credit card interest rate sitting at 23.98%, it's no surprise paying down your credit card balance is increasingly a struggle for many Americans. Guys, if you watch my video, and I'm tooting my own horn here. If you watch my video, I told you months ago that when things are going to get bad, when the Fed is increasing rates, who is going to benefit? Who is going to come to you on a platter and say, listen, here, I know your credit isn't that good, but we'll offer you credit at a high interest rate? Credit card companies. Credit card companies threw the hook out. They had some bait on it, and they were like, easy credit. Easy credit right here. Go ahead and jump on it. And a lot of Americans jumped on that scenario because they were trying to bridge the gap between what they actually made and the lifestyle that they built when they had no expenses. And now we have a situation where now more Americans right now have more debt in the last 2 years than in the last 10 years. Isn't that crazy? What could possibly make that happen? I mean, if you just look at the numbers, I'm just looking at the numbers, guys. I'm not making assumptions. I'm just looking at the numbers, and the numbers show that, people were just living out of their means. People were partying and thinking that, going to Bora Bora and going to Italy and all these other things, that they could actually afford it with all the expenses that they forgot about.
I got my money. Let's spin it up.
And now you're paying 24% interest on $10,000 worth of Popeyes. I know. Listen, we're making jokes about it, but it's true. I know that there's a bunch of people out there that literally have $10,000 worth of fast food on their credit card, and you're paying 24% interest on it. And then we go to the next one, which is auto loan. And guys, let me tell you what. Some of you guys out here driving BMWs, but you ain't making BMW money.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
It's crazy. How many Corvettes do you see on the road now? How many $100,000 cars am I seeing people drive? I know you can't afford it. You can't afford it. There is no reason why you should be driving a $200,000, $150,000 car, but living in an apartment. Now, we're not talking about somebody who's retired and wants to downsize. I'm not talking about that, guys. I'm talking about individuals who are in their prime, just making enough money, and they throw all of their money in a car.
That's a great idea. I'm with that.
They throw all of their money in a car, and now these same individuals are wondering, I can't afford this car. You never could afford the car. That's the point. You should have never put yourself in the position to believe that you could afford a $150,000 car, but you're making $100,000. Like, that makes no sense to me. But a lot of people were doing that. And it says, aside of drivers in their 20s, this age group is also missing the most auto loan payments. Guys, repos are shooting through the roof. This is not some conspiracy theory or like,
Oh, Orlando's like making this up. Like,
no, people are literally, by the numbers, missing auto payments. First of all, they overborrowed. Second of all, the interest rate is through the roof. What do we see here? What are interest rate? It says with a strong credit score, you can land a rate of between 6% and 8%. Seems like a lot, right? Especially when you compare it to 2 years ago or 3 years ago when interest rates were 0.3%, 2 and 3% on auto loans. Now they're with great credit, strong credit, 6% to 8%. It's insane, right? Then you throw in their auto loan companies, didn't really care, didn't really do a background, didn't do strong underwriting on the individual. They kind of took your word doing subprime loans where they said, yeah, you know, hey, look, you say you make this much, show us a paycheck. Oh, you're good. They're not looking at expenses. They're not looking at, oh, well, can this person actually afford this BMW that costs $150,000? They're not doing that. And then a lot of people are bragging about it. A lot of people are saying, yeah, let me show a TikTok.
Hey, sir, what is your car payment?
Mine is $1,325.
And what kind of vehicle is that?
It's a 22 Ford Raptor.
Yeah, guys, you know, I'm paying $1,300 on my car note. People are now using high car payments as clout.
Yeah, I know, I heard that. That's corny.
That's where we are, guys. And once I started to see that, I know we were doomed. These people really think paying more to a bank is reaching for clout. I mean, if you want to pay higher interest rates, the bank is like, you can have all the clout you want. What am I trying to say here at the end of the day? The end of the day is, guys, you have to live financially responsible. You cannot think that if you do all of these bad things and you just, live it to the fullest, that there isn't consequences when it comes to bad financial discipline. You have to understand that with the recession, with the way the economy is, things are going to get tougher and people are going to look underneath the hood. And when they look underneath the hood and you've got $10,000, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 worth of credit card debt, you have a BMW that you bought for $100,000 and you only make $150, you probably won't be able to get that house. And I don't want you to be confused at the reason why you cannot get that house, because this video will explain it to you. As always, guys, I hope you got value out of this video. I need you to do one thing. I need you to watch this video here. It will help you understand what's going on in this housing market, financial news, get you into your first rental property. Also, I promise you the information you will get from it will be gold, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.